Help if I turn my microphone on. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty with our slides, but they will be coming. It is so good to see you this morning. Very grateful that you're here with us. And I don't know about you, but boy, is it sticky, huh? Oh my gosh. This is not the kind of weather that I appreciate, but and hopefully Henry won't come our way. But we'll watch and see what happens there. So good morning. I am so grateful that you're here with us this morning. And as we do every Sunday morning, we begin our service with standing and singing together. Aha, and then there was the slides. Let us stand as we sing our opening song together. Sound wonderful this morning. Please be seated. And I would invite you to join me in prayer. As we lifted up our voices, singing is a prayer. And so as we open up our hearts even wider than they already are, we just give thanks. We give thanks for this day. We give thanks for all that is in our life. We remember the people in Afghanistan, those that are trying to leave that country, that they get out safely. We remember the people in Haiti as they are recovering. And we remember the people all the way up the East Coast as we're dealing with Hurricane Henry. There are so many places in the world right now where there is need, and that need is for prayers and for love. So let the love that you are just flow out. For that is who you are. You are love. And that love will go to wherever it is being called. And so for this time together, we just say, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for each and every person that walked through the doors this morning, for each and every one that is joining us online today. There are many other places that you could choose to be, and you choose to be with us. And for that, we are grateful. And so it is, and we let it be. Amen. So I'm going to remove my mask. We had a board meeting this week, and it was decided that it would be okay for me to go maskless. So I'm far enough away from everybody, and I swear I won't spit on you, okay? But I so do appreciate everybody else wearing their mask. There is so many, it's like a roller coaster of what is going on. And so we just roll with it. So I'm going to invite us now to stand as we say together our invocation. In this, together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God, the good, omnipotent. One presence, one power operating in our life, and that is God. And our vision statement is, Centered in divine love, we celebrate a spiritually transformed world. We celebrate a world where everybody is welcome, where everybody is treated equally, where everybody is being kind and compassionate and loving. And that begins with us, each and every one of us. When we are it, that's what we will see. And our mission statement is Unity Center for Spiritual Growth reaches in to reach out through education, service, and creation of community. Everything begins in prayer, and then we take the guidance and we place it where it is being called. And we have core values that we live by, and they are: we are loving, we are authentic, we are soul-centric, we are compassionate, and we are welcoming. And that is the truth about us. And let us remain standing as we sing together our community song.
Our community song this week is Tanda. Lyrics will show up here. There it is. The translation is, love your neighbor as you love yourself. We've done this song before, but I will quickly review the lyrics. Tanda, Tanda umelwane. Tanda umelwane wako. And that's all the words. Oh no, they're in the next slide you got Njenga, Kuba Uzi Tanda. All right, here we are. Because you need to see these words. And the next one. There it is. All right, now you can see what I'm talking about. Njenga, Kuba Uzi Tanda. And then the rest of the words you already know. Tanda umelwane wako. Okay, here we are, right on that section. 2, 3. Njenga, Kuba Uzi Tanda.
Well, there. Who says we can't talk more than one language or speak more than one language? So this is a time in our service that we welcome you, and we welcome you if you are with us for the very first time. So if this is your very first time with us here in this sanctuary, please raise your hand, for we have a gift for you. And don't be shy. I'm not going to ask you anything, but we would love to give you a gift. And for those of you that are joining us online, I have a gift for you as well. If you would put your name and your address in the chat box, I will send you a Unity publication. The one I'm holding in my hand is Gratitude and Grace. And so if you are so inclined to want to share with us who you are, I would love to give a gift to you as well. And Caitlin, what you have received, seeing you've just gotten a packet, is information about Unity. And there's a little smiley hat, if you would put that on so we can greet you afterwards. And if you would like to fill out the welcome card, we would be happy to put you on our mailing list. And we are really glad that you're with us this morning. So, and for those of you online, we are really glad that you show up as well. So I'll be looking for your name and address in the chat box when I get home, and we'll be sending you a magazine. So now is a time where we greet each other. And now would you please stand as we do that? And we say together our statement, and then we give big smiles with your eyes. Blink your eyes, that's a smile. And so here it is. The love in me greets the love in you, and together may we work for the glory of God. Oh, that's wonderful. I'm seeing lots of smiles. Thank you. Now you may be seated. So in Unity, we have teachings that we build on, and they are our 5 basic principles. And these are what I consider to be your first aid kit of spirituality. That you carry these 5 principles in your minds and in your hearts, so that when you are facing something that you're not expecting, when you hit one of those little speed bumps, you will have something to call on to help you through it. And so here they are. The first one is that God is good and everywhere present. There is no place on this planet where you are that God is not. God is in everything and also in you. The second one is that the Spirit of God lives within each person. Therefore, everybody is inherently good. Everybody is inherently good. And so if you've been brought up with the belief that you are an original sin, I invite you to let that go. You are an original blessing. You are not an original sin. Have you ever looked at a newborn baby and said, oh, that's an original sin? Heck no. That is a blessing. And that blessing is within us from the time that we take our first breath on this planet till the time we take our last breath on this planet. And so remember that. So remember when you're having difficulty with somebody, that you remember to go beyond the appearances to the core of their being, which is inherently good. The third one is that we create our life experiences through our way of thinking. Our thinking and how we set intentions, how we hold those are what we see in our life. And so when you are holding intentions for harmony, peace, joy, that's what's going to show up. So make sure whatever you're thinking and whatever affirmations you're saying are the ones that you want to see in your life. And then, of course, the fourth one is that there is power in affirmative prayer, and that is our conscious contact with God. And that one really is the bedrock of these other ones, because without that, without taking the time for prayer and meditation, you're not going to be paying attention to what your mind is thinking. You're not going to be paying attention to those around you and seeing them for the truth of who they are. And you're certainly not going to remember that God is everywhere present. And so, and then the last one is putting them into action. How do we put these into action? We put them into action by being the person we want to be in the world. And that's when we see the fruits of our work. How am I showing up? Yesterday, I had the privilege of doing a celebration of life service for Dr. Peter Layton. And Dr. Layton was a part of this community, as his wife Kim and their children. And he died of a brain tumor at the age of 48. And it was so amazing to listen to the people speak about him and the life that he lived and the many, many ways that he gifted people by his presence. And that's what this is all about. This is about how do we show up in the world? Are we showing up as somebody of compassion and listening and being present to people? When I couldn't say the core values, when I got messed up in those core values, is because my mind went somewhere else. Somebody came through the door and I was focused down there. I lost my train of thought. So staying present is so important. Staying in the moment. And so these are your lifelines. These are whatever you want to call them. They can be your life jacket. They can be whatever works for you, but use them. And now let us shift gears a little bit. And I'm going to invite our beloved Gloria, who seems to become our Daily Word laureate, to come up and share the Daily Word with us today. Oh, yeah, you might want the mic.
Oh, dear. The word today that we're reflecting on is inspiration. I move in harmony with the creative flow of inspiration. Sometimes I feel inspired by the words of others, and sometimes I am inspired more by action. Today, I take my inspiration from the story of Charles Fillmore, a businessman who marveled at his wife's complete healing from serious illness. This prompted him to embark upon an intense period of prayer, meditation, and study that led to the founding in 1889 of Unity, which has become a global spiritual community. I take the story to heart and find my inspiration in my feeling of awe and wonder, love, and even healthy curiosity. Feeling an awakening of inspiration within me, I move in harmony with the creative flow that blesses the work of my mind, my heart, and my hands. And from Job 32, verse 8, but truly it is the spirit in a mortal, the breath of the Almighty, that makes for understanding.
Thank you. I want to just share a little piece about Charles Fillmore when it talked about in here, that he would go into prayer. And he used to say he was going to headquarters. That's how he would think of meditation and prayer, as he's going to headquarters to get his orders. And I love that idea. And now I'm going to turn it over to our music team.
Well, first, I want to welcome Julie back for her second week with us here this summer. Julie Thompson, for those of you who weren't here for her last week. To open up Pat's song this morning, this is a song by Jan Garrett and J.D. Martin. And I don't know if I need to say anything else about it. I don't think I do.
I once heard a powerful story about a man who stood in his truth. Such conviction in who he was, he would not be moved. Someone stepped out of the crowd and said, "Are you Martin Luther King?" He said, "Yes, I am." And the well-dressed man spit on him. Then King took out his handkerchief, wiped the hate from his suit, gave it back to the man and said, "I believe this belongs to you. I will lift you do what I can do. See your heart, know your pain. I've been there too. I will hold you high while you do what you have to do. I am clear who is standing here. I believe this belongs to you." I once had a powerful story, used to carry around. Thought it was you all this time, it held my spirit down. Now I know the truth, who I came here to be. You are my angel in disguise, not my enemy. So I thank you for the part you played in this dance we had to do. It belongs to you. I will lift you up and do what I can do. See your heart, know your pain. I've been there too. I will hold you high while you do what you have to do. Give you back your freedom now. I believe it belongs to you. I will lift you up and do what I can do. Feel your heart, know your pain. I've been there too. I will hold you high while you do what you have to do. Give you back your own true love. I believe it belongs to you. I am clear as we're standing here. I believe this belongs to you.
How could I have forgotten to introduce Julie? I am so sorry. I guess it's because I just expect her to be part of us. That's it, you know? Yes, that's absolutely true. We are so, so grateful when you make your way to Maine, and we are grateful. Thank you. So many of you know that schools are opening soon. And I know that there's a teacher or two in this room. So this is a story for you as a teacher, but for all of us, because we're all teachers, aren't we, in our own ways? So did you hear about the teacher who was helping one of her kindergarten students put on his boots? He asked for help, and she could see why. With her pulling and him pushing, the boots still didn't want to go on. When the second boot was on, she had worked up a sweat. She almost whimpered when the little boy said, "Teacher, they're on the wrong feet." She looked, and sure enough, they were on the wrong feet. It wasn't any easier pulling them off than it was when she was putting them on. But she managed to keep her cool as together they worked to get the boots back on. This time on the right feet. He then announced, "These aren't my boots." She bit her tongue rather than get right in his face and scream, "Why didn't you say so in the beginning?" Once again, she struggled to help him, pulling the ill-fitting boots off. He then said, "They're my brother's boots. My mom made me wear them today." She didn't know if she should laugh or cry. Anybody been in that position before? But she mustered up the grace to wrestle the boots on his feet again. Then she said, "Now, where are your mittens?" He said, "I stuffed them in the toes of my boots." This is really a funny story, but you know, it could be so true. It could be so true. And have you ever felt like that teacher? Maybe this past week you have felt like that teacher. When you just wanted to get into somebody's face, but you bit your tongue. Maybe you did get into somebody's face, and then you had to make amends. I remember somebody telling me once, "I try hard not to get into somebody's face because I don't want to have to make amends." So, did that little boy have something personal against the teacher? I don't think so. He was just being a little boy. Last week, I began the series from this book, which I absolutely love, The Four Agreements. This is not a new publication. This has been out for a long while. But you know what's interesting? I have found this week 2 or 3 different sites that are featuring Don Miguel Ruiz. So it's like the universe is coming back to say, okay, we need these again. And so today we are looking at that. And this book is a book about the Toltec wisdom of spiritual masters who lived thousands of years ago in southern Mexico. And the whole premise of their work is that we are all caught up in a shared cultural dream that has limitations and scarcity woven into it. Now think about that. Think about that in how we live our life. We live our life from a place of fear and doubt, scarcity and limitations, and to realize, as they are saying, that this is woven right into our culture. This is given to us from the time that we make our entrance on this planet. And each of us have bought into this dream because we have been born into it, raised with it, and taught it all of our lives. And this shared myth of fear, limitation, and scarcity runs our life. Would you agree with me on that? You know, I know that 30 years of being in Unity has helped me with some of that, but I wish I could say that I never have fear, scarcity, doubt, but I'd be lying to you, and you know I don't want to do that. Each of us has in some way been domesticated into this dream. We have bought into the cumulative dream of all who have come before us. He has a companion book to this one, and in that, he states that what we are seeing and hearing right now is nothing but a dream. Let that sink in a minute. And that how we behave and what we believe and feel is the result of being domesticated by those who were born before us, who taught us the right way to dream, according to the collective dream of the society that we're born into. Each of us affects this collective dream, and each of us perpetuates it. It determines what we individually believe. It determines what is right and what's wrong. It tells us what is bad and what is good. We are always compartmentalizing. We're always finding a box to put something in. Oh, this is good. Oh, this is bad. What is acceptable behavior and what is not? Talking about little kids. Have you been somewhere where a little kid is being a little kid and you're wanting to say to the parent, would you have that little guy stop what he's doing? He's annoying. What we've done is we have a belief of what that little boy should act like. So what do? We judge people and we find them wanting. Don Miguel says that we have learned to accept these dreams as fact, that we agree with them and that these agreements make us suffer. What is it that Byron Katie says? When we fight, when we argue with reality, we suffer. And that's what he's saying. He says it's like building a box, brick upon brick, that we agree to live in. And most of our energy goes to trying to make what we see and feel fit into that box. And it's not only individually that we suffer, but we suffer globally. Are we noticing that now? If we look at human society, we see a place that is difficult to live in because it is ruled by fear. Just pick up the paper. Just look at your news feed on your phone. It's all about fear. Very hard to find an article that's uplifting. There are a few websites that's what they do, but the majority of them are about fear because that's what we identify with. We see a dream of violence, of war, of injustice, controlled by fear, when what we desire is truth, justice, and beauty. I believe that each of us is here at Unity because we want to become conscious of the dream. We want to remember who we are. That was what was so clear to me when I came through these doors. Is that was the work that I was wanting to do. Who was I? Who had I come here to be? And I believe that each and every one of us that are here are wanting that, are wanting to know, how can I live my best self? I believe that each of us came here because we hear that call from God to come home, to come back to that space where we once again know that we are one with God, where we know we are God's beloved. The Bible, our unity teachings, and the 4 agreements all teach us that we can step out of that limited dream that we've created for ourselves and for our society. We do that by realizing what agreements we've agreed to in the past and by making new agreements. So today's message is the second agreement. Don't take anything personally. Whoa. And this, of the 4 agreements, this is the second one. The first one I spoke to last week, be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't take it personally. Next week, don't make assumptions and always do your best. Those are the 4. And I think, and you might agree with me, but I think that this agreement number 2 was written just for me. Ruiz says, nothing other people do is because of you. It is because of themselves. Oh, let that sink in. That song that Julie just sang, let me give it back to you. This belongs to you. It's not mine. All people live in their own dream, in their own mind. They are in a completely different world than the one we live in. What is the most difficult thing that happens in relationships? It's communication. I can remember getting so resentful when I wanted something and my partner didn't give it to me. Did I ever tell him what it was? Heck no. He was supposed to know. He was supposed to read my mind. He didn't live in my mind. Other people don't live in my mind. Even if others insult you directly, it is nothing to do with you. What they say, what they do, and the opinions they give are according to the agreements that they have in their own minds. Wow. This reminds us that each of us lives in our own world, our own dream. And whatever is going on in someone else's life is their own world, their own dream. Nothing other people do is because of you. It is because of themselves. How much guilt, how much have we carried around thinking that we were responsible for someone else's feelings? That is not our job to worry about someone else's feelings. We can't possibly know what's going on in their head. So nothing other people do is because of you. It is because of themselves. We can turn that around and say, nothing we do is because of other people. It is because of us. But what happens is that we get trapped in what we call personal importance. Personal importance. Many of us make the assumption that everything is about me. We get caught up in the maximum expression of selfishness when we assume that everything anyone else does or says is about us individually. Think about that. And what happens in our personal interactions because we forget who we are? When we take things personally, we feel offended. I was so hurt when you said that. How often have you said that? How often have you thought that? You made me feel so bad. Nobody can make you feel anything. And you can't make anybody else feel anything. We get offended, and our reaction is to defend our beliefs. And whenever there is offense and defense, what happens? Conflict. Absolutely. We create conflict. We make something big out of something little because we have the need to be right and for the other person to be wrong. What we say, what we do, and the opinions we have are according to the agreements that we have made with ourselves. And these opinions have nothing to do with anyone else. Oh, can you imagine? And I hope you do. Take this to heart and start living your life tomorrow, this afternoon, the minute you leave here, right now, realizing that you are not responsible for somebody else, nor is anybody else responsible for you, because you've got your own agreements and they've got their own agreements. This agreement, don't take things personally, says it is not important what someone says about us and that we don't take what they think about us personally, even if it's a compliment, an accolade, a criticism, or a curse. That's a hard one. That's a hard one to not get puffed up. Someone said, "Oh, you did a great job." But when we do that, we also get deflated when we receive some kind of criticism. So both of them are not about that other person. It's about us. I want to give you an example. Jimmy was a 6-year-old who went to the optometrist for an eye exam. And he told the doctor his eyes were great. He didn't need glasses. But when the doctor asked him to read a line from the vision chart and what the letters were, Jimmy couldn't do it. So the doctor went to the next highest line and asked him again, and Jimmy couldn't do it. And so the doctor said, you can't read these lines and you don't think you need glasses? No, Jimmy replied. I just haven't learned those words yet. He didn't take it personally. He had a good enough self-esteem that he could just say, I just don't know those words. So Jimmy didn't take it personally. He didn't see that the doctor thought that he was a poor reader. He just calmly gave his explanation. When we take things personally and when we don't have that immunity, remember what happens. We get offended. And when we get offended, we feel the need to defend ourselves and to make ourselves right. Don't take things personally doesn't mean that we just ignore things and pretend that our buttons are not pushed. It means what? When our buttons get pushed, we look at ourselves and see what is causing that. We do the inner work. Jesus is giving a teaching, and it's found in Matthew and Luke, and I'm going to read from Matthew 7, 3-5. Why do you see the speck in your neighbor's eye, but do not notice the log in your own eye? Or how can you say to your neighbor, let me take that speck out of your eye while the log is in your own eye? You hypocrite. First, take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your neighbor's eye. Can you imagine the shift in consciousness that will take place if we all make this agreement? If we all worry about the speck in our own eye or the log in our own eye and not worry about somebody else's eye. Ruiz asserts that if we make these first two agreements, be impeccable with your word and don't take anything personally, if we commit to them and follow through with them, we will break 75% of the teeny tiny agreements that have kept us trapped in our own little boxes. Our way shower and teacher Jesus and other teachers came to tell us we are spiritual beings and we are born of universal love, the creative power. Somehow, all on our own, we have come into an illusion, a dream, that we are powerless, that we are weak. and we have become insecure and even practice being insecure. Miguel writes, whatever people do, feel, think, or say, don't take it personally. If they tell you how wonderful you are, don't take it personally. Here's the secret. You know you are wonderful. You know you are wonderful. Nobody has to tell you that. It is not necessary to believe other people who tell you that you're wonderful. Don't take anything personally. He even suggests that we write the second agreement on a piece of paper and post it on our refrigerator. I think that's a great idea. When you truly agree not to take anything personally, you don't need to trust in what other people say unless it sounds right for you. You get to choose. The point is, you learn to trust yourself for making responsible choices. We put the onus back on us. We make it what is right for us. You're never responsible for the actions of others, only for your own actions. And I want to close with what Miguel writes will happen when we quit taking things personally. I love this. You can travel around the world with your heart completely open. You can say, I love you, without fear of being ridiculed or rejected. You can ask for what you need. You can say yes or you can say no, whatever you choose, without guilt or self-judgment. You can choose to follow your heart always. Then you can be in the middle of hell and still experience inner peace and happiness. We're talking heaven on earth here, folks. Doesn't that sound wonderful? It's a great start, isn't it? But there's more. I want you to come back next week to learn about the third agreement. Don't make assumptions. The everlasting truth is that each of us can be in the middle of hell and still experience inner peace and happiness. And this is to be continued. God bless you, and let us prepare for meditation.
When I'm quiet and pray, I open my heart. I open my heart. When I'm quiet and pray, I open my heart. Hallelujah. When I'm quiet and pray, I see only love, see only love. When I'm quiet and pray, I see only love. Hallelujah.
And so as we relax, let go of any tension that you might be holding. Let your jaw relax, your shoulders, your neck. Just settle in. And as we move into the silence, ask to be revealed. What one agreement might you let go of in this time? What one agreement have you been living your life by that has caused you pain, loneliness, fear, scarcity? Let it bubble up in the silence. Now create an affirmation to replace the agreement that you're letting go of. And now bring yourself back into this time and space. And remember that we sit in conscious, compassionate awareness. And that compassion begins with oneself. And so it is. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. And I want to share a few announcements with you. Friday evening, Unity Women and those from other places came together. I heard it was a wonderful evening, and that there are a couple of events that are being scheduled. I don't have the details on them yet, but please check Heart Thought on Wednesday or the website, because they will be on there. And I think they've got something coming up this coming weekend. So that I'm very excited about that. A Course in Miracles will be online today. The Justice and Equality Vigil, I believe, is happening today. Unity's World Day of Prayer. Our prayer partners are going to come together. That is an event that happens every year, and it is on Thursday, September 9th this year. And they will be coming together here from 6:30 to 7:30 to do a prayer service. And all are invited. Anything that you want to say to that, Barbara? I put you on the spot. You know, it's a wonderful place to let go of some of those agreements. So you can see that Barbara and Bonnie are our prayer partners today, and they will be available for one-on-one prayer. Thank you. I'm excited to say that we have a new event happening with Patricia Allen. Many of you probably know Patricia. She was the abbess at Chime for many years, and she is doing a 2-evening event on creating rituals for our lives. And the first one will be on September 21st, and the next one will be on October 5th from 6:30 to 8. Both are, it's a 2-part thing, so you go to both of them. Information is in Heart Thought. It will be, registration is required. There is a fee of $30 for the 2 sessions, but it will help you to create rituals for yourself. It may be a ritual of letting go of scarcity, of whatever might be limiting you, as Barbara just talked about, is what I've been talking about today. It may be a ritual that you want to do with grandchildren. It might be many different things. So it's going to be a fun thing and meaningful. Also, the Unity Eastern Region Conference is happening the last week in September. And I want to highlight, this is a standalone event if you would like to participate in it, is our keynote for the Tuesday evening is Valerie Kaur. And we did the book, See No Stranger, that Valerie wrote. She's a Sikh who does amazing work. And she will be keynoting on Tuesday evening. So if you're interested in that, go to the Unity Eastern Region website. And we also have information in Heart Thought about that. And then just a reminder, Jack Siri will be doing a silent retreat in October from the 24th to either the 26th or the 27th. If you've never done a silent retreat, do it. If you've done a silent retreat, do it. Both are excellent. So those are the things that are happening. And always check out Heart Thoughts, check out our website and our Facebook page. And so I think that ends that piece of it. And now I want to speak to our offering. You know, oftentimes this gets a little bit shortchanged, and I use that word specifically because it has to do with how we don't give ourselves enough credit for the good things that we do in our life. And one of the ways that we acknowledge our relationship with spirit is knowing that God is our source, that through whatever means we receive income, it doesn't come from that source. The main source is God. And so when we give, we are acknowledging that God is our source. And not only are we acknowledging that, but we're opening up for that source to continue to source us. So it's a cycle. And so when you think about your giving, think of it in terms of, as I give, so shall I receive, knowing that your gift goes to further the work in the world, further the work here, further your own work. And it's a very important aspect of your whole, again, some of the agreements that we've made are around finances. So look at what those agreements are and look at letting go of some of those. So the way that we're doing it now is I'm inviting you to come forward. We'll say our offering statement. You place your gift in the bowl or pray over it if you're not putting something in. If you give online, put one of the little green, one of these little doohickeys in, and always take an affirmation. So let us say together our offering statement. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, for the joy of giving and receiving. And so it is. So you can come forward at any moment.
This next song we have is much lighter than the last one. Lots of words, so if anybody reads lips usually, I can always give you the lyrics later on, come pretty fast. So we thought it was a nice take on don't take anything personally. And thanks for having me. All right, here we go.
Oops, sorry, it's not in that key though. It's in this key.
Once I climbed the highest mountain just 'cause it was there. Standing on the summit was a thrill beyond compare. Then I trekked to both the poles as Sir Hillary. Everyone said I was great. Oh wait, that wasn't me. Twice I made a solo flight where none had flown before. First Atlantic, then Pacific, ocean shore to shore. Fly, Amelia, fly, they cried into history. I got to meet the chief of state. Oh wait, that wasn't me. Holy moly, I get swept away by the grit and the glory of a true adventure story. Once I started up a band with Ringo, George, and John. A TV host named Sullivan said, sure, I'll put 'em on. From that day, the whole world got a lot more Beatley. We sold a lot of records, mate. Oh, wait, that wasn't me. Holy moly, I get swept away by the grit and the glory of a true adventure story. Wilma might not walk again, or so my mom was told. Then I ran round the track and won an Olympic gold. 3 times at the Summer Games I claimed victory. 1960 marked the date. Oh wait, that wasn't me. Everyone said I was great. Oh wait, that wasn't me.
So, Julie, where do you head from here?
Well, Henry,
Yes.
changed the plans.
Okay.
So we're supposed to have a performance in Ocean Park, so maybe next summer. And but tomorrow, hopefully Augusta works out. I'll be at a senior community then, and then I fly out on Tuesday. Only 2 weeks this year, so a quick one. So thank you as usual for bringing me here, and I'm always at home. So I love working with Dina. So you can never be off when I come.
So, Julie, if people love your music, how can they find more of you?
Well, if you go to my website, Julie Voice, JulieVoice, julievoice.com, then you can at least sign up or send me an email, or if you want those lyrics, you can send me an email, and then I can let you know when I'm coming back, and I always say, that I'm coming when I'm coming here, and then I do have some CDs, but yeah, I don't know if they're still in there, but I have.
Probably are.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thank you. So let us bless these tithes and offerings, knowing that they go forth to do the will and the work of the nonviolent Jesus through Unity Center for Spiritual Growth. And so it is. Amen. And now let us stand as we sing together the peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as the one source, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Thank you. And would you join me as we say together the prayer for protection? The light of God surrounds us. We are the light. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love. The power of God protects us. We are the power. And the presence of God watches over us. We are the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Have a blessed day, my friends. Stay safe, and thank you for everyone that is online with us today. Very, very grateful to have you.